Hi there, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and my project today is for the Elizabeth Craft Design September Designers Challenge with the theme of Classic Christmas. So I decided to combine as much glitter and foil with some classic Christmas dies to create this card. So I have a gatefold card, sort of. It's 5.5 high by 8.5 across. And then I've scored it at 4 1/4 and then 2 3/4 from the right, and then folded them both in. And then you'll notice that there is a little bit of overlap on the outer edge, but that's okay because we're going to cut most of that off. So I'm marking the center of the front panel at 2 1/8, both at the top and the bottom. Sorry about my crazy head there. and I'm drawing the line down a fair amount just so I can make sure that the top of the tree is going to line up with that line, but I need to have the tree lower towards the bottom of the card so that the star can fit on the top, so the top point isn't quite at the top of the card, as you see. And now I have used paper tape to hold it in place, and then I'm going to run it through my Gemini. I'm only going to die cut half of it. So what I've got is my base plate, my plastic shim, and my magnetic shim, and then I have a Gemini Junior plate, which you can see is half the size of a regular Gemini cutting plate. So what I'm going to do is use a little more paper tape on the front of my card, right along that halfway point. And so that's how I'm going to adhere the Gemini Junior plate kind of in place, so it only cuts half of this. So I'm lining it up with those pencil marks and then paper taping the die down so that it won't shift when I run this through my machine. And then I'm going to run it through like so. So the Gemini Junior plate will go first through the pressurized machine. And now you'll see what this does is it only cuts the outer half of that outline die from the card. So it makes a really cool half partial die cut, I guess. So you see there, and then I'm just going to trim off along those little lines I cut the rest of the outside of the right hand of the card front. Just erase those little pencil marks, and that's what I've got. So I have that tree edge along the outside, the front flap of the card base. And now I just got this Spellbinders Glimmer Hot Foil System. I'm super excited to purchase it, and I'm going to use it to transfer these Snowflakes dies from Elizabeth Craft Designs. There's both exterior and interior, so I'm just using the interior design. And I'm going to use hot foil to add a foil detail to the front of the card base. So these are the two plates that come with it. I'm only going to use the top cutting plate. And then I have a shim that is made from Gina K Design's heavy base weight cardstock. So it's a pretty thick shim. Now you have to turn it on up there on the right. And then you'll see the light is red, and then you have to wait for that second light to turn green before the plate is heated up properly, as you see there. And then I'm going to take the first die. I'm going to line it up on the card base where I want it ideally to foil. And then I'm going to flip it over onto the heating plate and place it down. It's a little tricky. So I've hit the timer button, so that's the green flashing light. So I have to wait for that to turn solid. And now it's solid, so I know it's heated up enough. And then I take the foil, and this is Champagne Go Pressin' foil, and it is heat-activated foil, which is different from the laminating foil that we use with toner ink. It will not, that kind of foil will not work with this, so just bear that in mind. So I'm trying to line up my card base kind of where I want the foil to transfer, and then put down my shim, put down my top plate, and then you have to kind of sandwich it together and pull the whole thing off, and then run it slowly through your die cutting machine. Now I have a We Are Memory Keepers Evolution machine that I pull out for these thick plates. I have it set on 7, and I'm running it through really slowly. So I have doubled the speed of this, so that will tell you how slow I was running that through. That just seems to help it transfer better. And you can sort of see the pattern there has transferred. And I peel back the foil, and you can see how pretty that is. The foil has transferred just along the cutting lines. And there is a little bit of extra here and there, but I'm just going to take my sand eraser and sand that off, and it works like a charm to take off any excess that you get transferred on accidentally. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing again, but I'm going to do it with the medium-sized snowflake die. And this is a little bit tricky because I need to line it up on the heating plate so that my paper doesn't really go outside the lines of the heating plate. Because if it does, it's going to get crunched when it goes through the die cutter. So that's a little bit tricky. But it works fairly well. So you can see I've got this is silver foil that came with the Glimmer machine. It's shiny side down, making my same sandwich of the cardstock, the shim, and then the top plate, and there, that has transferred now to the upper part of the inner flap of the card. And for my last one, I'm adding more champagne foil with the smallest snowflake die to the upper left of the card front, which will be to the left of the tree once we have it in place. So pretty cool, I thought. Now I have die cut out the elegant Christmas tree using both the outline and the interior die out of a piece of 85-pound soft finish cardstock that has clear double-sided adhesive sheet on the front of it. And then I also die cut out the large star out of a piece of gold mirror cardstock. Now I've peeled back the backing on the adhesive sheet, and I'm covering the entire front of the tree with cool diamond silk microfine glitter from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And so this is a clear glitter, so it's really going to be just a shimmery white tree, which is what I was going for, because I was going for like a classic silver gold, red and green card for a classic Christmas theme. I'm using Zig 2E glue pen to adhere this down to the front of the card, and I'm lining it up just exactly with that die cut edge from the first step. And now I'm going to take the two small snowflakes in the classic Christmas sentiment stamp set, and I'm going to take white pigment ink and silver pigment ink and stamp these around the foiled snowflakes to kind of fill in the space that's left by the lack of foil, if you will. And I will actually complete the entire like inner flap too. You won't see me do that here, but you will see it in the end. And just set that aside to dry. So in the meantime, I have stamped and heat embossed the Peace, Love, and Joy greeting from the Christmas Sentiment stamp set in white heat embossing powder, and die cut that out with the second smallest die in the Stitched Hearts die set. And then I've die cut Merry Christmas from the Words 5 Winter Wishes die set onto red cardstock that has a double-sided adhesive sheet on the back. The heart has foam tape on the back, and then half of the star has 3mm adhesive on it. So you can only adhere half of it down to the top of the tree because the right side needs to be unadhered so that the card will still open, obviously. Now my foam tape heart is going kind of in the center of the tree, a little bit below the middle. And then I will peel off my Christmas and Merry, so they are basically stickers. And as long as you don't press them down too hard, you can still kind of move them and shift them around. Because I do find that these words like to move around and not necessarily line up perfectly the first time. But then once you press them down, they are good to go. And then I'm adding a couple more little snowflakes around that greeting on the inside to match what I've got going on the outside. And as a final finishing touch, I am adding gold and silver glitter dots, the very tiniest ones, just around on all three flaps of the card, so both sides and then the interior, to finish it off. And that is the completed project. And I hope you can see the glitter on the tree as well as the foil on those snowflakes. It is so pretty. I'm enjoying that Spellbinders Glimmer Hot Foil System. I'm still trying it out, so we'll see. I will do a review of that eventually. But that is the completed project, and hopefully I have inspired you today to use the classic silver, gold, red, and green colors here, and some snowflakes, and glitter, and foil to create a fun, and what I hope is a fairly elegant classic Christmas card. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment because I love getting comments. Please check out the Elizabeth Craft Designs blog today, which is linked in the video description, to check out all the other great design team projects for the theme of this month of Classic Christmas. Here are 2 more projects I have done in the past using a Christmas theme, so please check those out. And I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks.